The Graham Creek Nature Preserve near Foley boasts 484 acres of natural habitats, including pitcher plant bogs and mixed forests. Launch your kayak or canoe, hike along the trails, or do a little bird watching. The Nature Preserve offers hundreds of plant species, including a dozen rare orchids, wildflowers, sunflowers, pitcher plants, lilies, and aurums. Among the plants is the largest fringe tree known to be growing in the state. It is a pristine area, ideal for a relaxing walk along nature trails, and serves as a preserve for wetland species of plants and animals native to the Alabama Gulf Coast. The preserve is open to the public at no charge, with walking trails, picnic tables in the shade of beautiful oaks, and a canoe launch on the banks of Graham Creek leading into Wolf Bay. Baldwin County, which features numerous stops on Alabama's coastal connection, has a rich history and heritage. And keeping that heritage alive is the Baldwin County Heritage Museum in Alberta. The museum includes more than 20,000 square feet on a site covering 5 acres and is a local collection of memorabilia, artifacts, and history from the men and women who built this county. The museum is a great place for visitors to connect with and learn about the early history of Baldwin County. Here you can truly reach out and touch the past. The site, named Frieden in Wald, or Peace in the Forest, provides a rural setting that realistically represents the land as it had been at the turn of the century. The design for the grounds was done by the Landscape Architecture program of Auburn University and includes over 100 species of native flora and fauna growing on the grounds. The buildings are both original and reproductions, featuring a structure that resembles a turn-of-the-century barn with a working windmill in front. Another building houses vintage farm equipment, tools, and machinery, including a 1911 Titan tractor. Another building houses vintage farm equipment, tools, and machinery, including a 1911 Titan tractor. A 1908 church was moved to the museum grounds in 1998, and the Blacksmith Club works their trade on the museum grounds to demonstrate this important and historical skill. A miniature potato shed was created on the grounds of the museum and was a gift from the town of Loxley. In 2007, the old Mifflin Schoolhouse was brought to the museum grounds. The conservation of this environment plays an important role in the preservation plans and activities of the museum. This is a step back in time and a great way for families to share the past with their children. Do you have a passion for trains? If so, this next stop is just for you. Located in the old L&N Railroad Depot is Foley's Museum, Archives, and Train Exhibit, a former train depot that has been converted into a museum. The depot was built in 1905 when Mr. John B. Foley of Chicago brought the railroad to the southern part of Baldwin County. The depot and the railroad became the center of activity for the growing town of Foley. Then in 1971, the L&N Railroad discontinued their services to Foley, and the railroad intended to tear down the depot. John Snook, owner of the local Gulf Telephone Company, bought the building for $1, and the city turned it into a museum. Here you will find pictures and artifacts that depict the culture of South Baldwin County, especially the city of Foley. You will also find an O-gauge model railroad layout, which is the centerpiece of the museum. The exhibit is 24 feet by 60 feet and has a quarter-mile of track and 3 operating double-track routes, as well as representations of 12 different railroads, including several animated sites. It is Main Street, USA, complete with a fire station, car wash, church, bus station, and a city park with an N-gauge train that carries children around the park. You'll find a farm, a sawmill, and a coal company at one end of the layout and an oil refinery on the opposite end. The Foley Museum and Train Exhibit is a great family stop for history and train enthusiasts of all ages. Anyone fascinated by technology advancements in medicine will enjoy a stop at Holmes Medical Museum. Housed in Baldwin County's first hospital, established in 1936. Stepping inside is truly like a trip back in time. There are extensive displays of medical equipment, all carefully labeled, and many of the rooms are still decorated as they would have been in the 1930s and 1940s. The museum is so realistic and full of fascinating items, it is easy to lose track of time. Discover a recreated operating room, patient rooms, X-ray and pharmacy, all using period medical antiques. You will also see medical quackery devices from the past that will send a chill up your spine. While you're in Foley, visit the downtown historic business district. Settled in 1905, this charming area has become a shopping destination on the Gulf Coast, offering many unique shops and restaurants. Spend an afternoon browsing the shops, enjoy a southern lunch created by chefs with a flair for flavor, and explore the historical offerings. This friendly town is full of southern hospitality and has been designated by Southern Development magazine as one of the 10 great small towns to live in and operate a business. We think you'll agree. It's a nice place to be. Visiting the Foley area is a way to sample Southern hospitality, history, and the unique culture of Baldwin County.